One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it, we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Build we go fix it, we go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Philip will fix it.
Vote PEP. One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we vote in PEP. Come on, let me.
All right, so good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to the live broadcast. I am technically a director, but tonight I'm playing host, co-host, everything. You are looking live at What's Next with, once again, myself, David Welch, and also Precious Cruickshank to the right of me. Precious, good night.
Good night, David, and good night to all who are viewing What's Next, all of our PP family, and everyone across Trinidad and Tobago and across the globe. Good night, good night, good night, and welcome.
Now, Precious is so accustomed tonight using a cell phone that she's looking down at the TV. Precious, when you're looking at a camera, look at your camera right there.
Okay, hi.
So, good night to all of you joining the live broadcast. Once again, we're streaming live on TikTok. We're streaming live on all Philip Edward Alexander's pages, the Progressive Empowerment Party pages, Trinidad and Tobago Broadcasting Network page, and hopefully television soon, Precious Cruickshank.
Yes.
But joining us in studio today, because we're in studio for the first time ever. This is the first ever
First time,
show.
David. Yeah.
And I believe this is the 8th episode. Correct me if I'm wrong. She don't even know.
Yes, it is our 8th episode, David.
8th episode of What's Next, 9th, 10th, and 11th to come. But joining us in studio now is none other than David Joseph. You have persons attached to the youth arm right now. So David Joseph is of the left of me, and he is in studio right now. And I brought David Joseph because I want to have young people. You know what? I won't lie. Because so far, a lot of persons think that the PEP, the Progressive Empowerment Party, we don't have people behind the scenes, especially attached to the youth arm. They feel as though it's a one-man show because many persons on social media say it's a one-man show and one man running that party. But in the inside, there's a lot of people that speak internally but not externally. So
Yes.
David Joseph is joining me on the inside. Now, David, how things?
Everything going well so far. Can't complain. We had a good week. Well, personally, I had a good week. Looking at the headlines in the news, obviously that might be different. But for me personally, I had a good week.
All right. Now, he said looking at the headlines in the news, and you got Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, when he talk about politics or something about politics. That is a meme that was transparent for a long time. But other than David Joseph, we have also, we have to bring in the PEP members into it. And we have shadow MPs.
That's right.
On the inside as well. I say MPs as though it's plural, but one shadow MP. We have Akil Camps as well as concerned citizen in Trinidad and Tobago, and also a member, I should say, of the Progressive Empowerment Party, Mr. Dana. How are you guys today?
We're both fine, thank you.
No, two, they can't talk together. You know? So we have Akil Camps, Shadow MP for Diego Martin Northeast, and then we also have Adana, which I don't know her last name, unfortunately.
Richards.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Richards.
Richards, all right.
All right.
Adana Richards also on the inside here tonight. So as Philip would say, we have a cast of characters here because I feel like there's like a rum shop talk, right? Because the things that we're going to be talking, guys, honestly.
A lot of information, a lot of things that is in the public limelight right now, and it's very, very sad to know that we have to come back to talking about gun violence and out of control, spiraling out of control gun violence within our beautiful country of Trinidad. So, what's next, David? What's
Now,
next?
I don't know about the panel that I have on today, but we have gone through a year so far in Trinidad and Tobago where we have seen crime and criminality escalate out of control.
Yeah.
it is scary now. And it's even more scary for women in Trinidad and Tobago because walking the streets alone at night is just something that I cannot believe women and children still do in this country.
Yeah.
But not only that, but I have a story here of a 5-year-old boy that was injured, after someone shot up a car in San Juan. And it was only 9 o'clock in the night, about 8:15 or so. But I don't know if you were there with us in Enterprise. I don't think.
No, I didn't make it.
You all weren't there in Enterprise. But Jamal Modest, and we have a picture of Jamal Modest there. Jamal Modest was shot and killed in Enterprise. He was shot after trying to run away from bandits on a playground. This is the young Jamal Modest here, 9-year-old boy. And I want to send out condolences once again to the family.
Yes.
Now, this boy was shot in his back after trying to run away from bandits on a playground, people, on a playground. And we were there. We have some images, some videos of Philip Alexander and the entire PEP team there as well. So we could run that. We were there, we were lighting candles. This is Dion Richards lighting candle. And it is sad to know that this is where we have to come back to. We have to come back to lighting candles. Many of you know that we lit a candle for Andrea Barrett. How much more candles do we have to light in Trinidad and Tobago before? And I don't want to just make it a governmental issue, but let's be real, it is a governmental issue.
Yes.
It's simply because of poverty, mismanagement,
Cost of living.
cost of living. Things are going to get even worse.
Sorry to say, but that's what's going to happen until we could fix something.
Exactly.
You understand? Because there's so much things to fix.
So much things to fix.
Yeah.
And
so much
laws
things to
need
fix.
to be implemented. We have weak gun laws in Trinidad and Tobago. Weak, very weak. And I don't know when we would have proper gun laws being implemented within our country. I don't know, but it's getting out of control. Just imagine young Jamal Modest trying to run away and got shot in the back. Fell flat on the ground, lifeless. That is not a sight that anyone should see, and it's not something that a child should have to go through. He's a victim of poor gun laws, poor implementation of gun laws within our country. And then do you see anyone talking about it? Do you see parliamentarians talking about it within parliament, that things need to get fixed, things need to be better? No, you don't hear it, you don't see it. You see it plastered on your newspaper one day and then goodbye. What's next? What's the next thing that's happening? Who's the next person to get killed? It's ridiculous. A life is vitally important. A child's life is important. Where are the laws? Where are the children's authorities? Where are these people who always speak up when certain things happen? We need them to speak up now. An innocent child needs your help for justice.
Precious, the government is overwhelmed. That's what's going on with them. So much things going on that they can't even address one. So they choose to ignore the most until we highlight something, and then they run in parliament and say
something.
No, the thing about that is, right, earlier this year, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar, right, there was a young man, and this touched me personally because he is the same age as me, he's 20 years old, right, Justin Falton. In May of earlier this year, right, the young man said in his personal life, right, that he was heavily affected by crime growing up and criminal aspects in the area that he grew up in, Sour Laventille. Now, this young man went out there, right, to try to make an honest living, went out to try to sell some products and so on. He was hit by the police of Trinidad and Tobago, by the CTPS, with 7 charges and 1 fine. The boy was selling mango.
Right.
And he was convicted.
Trying to make an honest dollar.
Right, and then when you talk about that incident, right, with the young boy on the playground, right, that is not a singular incident, right? We have the young man as well at 7 years old. He was also shot in the playground. What about the young man when they went to stick up Pennywise? And he was also injured and carried to hospital and subsequently died. These are not individual instances. These are not individual incidents. However, as you said, the media covers them They make for a good headline because that's what the media does. Again, they make for an attractive headline, and then they brush up until we look at the next thing that the government is doing, until we look at the next funny statement that the parliamentarians make when they address the nation. I feel as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago right now, we are just constantly in a state of limbo, waiting until the next foot drops, until the next big thing happens. Never anticipating, but always just waiting for that next thing to happen. And when it does happen, we just sit back and say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. But we need to be proactive rather than reactive. If we are proactive, a topic that we're going to touch on later on tonight, I believe, floods wouldn't be a major issue as they are today in Trinidad and Tobago. The issue of gun violence would have been eradicated. The drug trade, because I remember a few weeks ago, the Minister of National Security, Dr. Fitzgerald, right? He came out and made a statement saying there are over 200 illegal ports of entry in Trinidad and Tobago. You are the Minister of National Security, right? If you make a statement like that and you can come out bold, right?
But the Prime Minister could say we have how much illegal guns.
Exactly. You could come out and make a statement like that, bold-faced to the people, and not do a thing after the fact to solve it.
Exactly.
That is ridiculous.
The Minister of National Security also said they know it was 57 women were trafficked. Yeah.
Well,
what should have been his statement after?
They have the data, they have the facts, they have all the information and what is being done about
these
it.
people,
well,
and then they go in Parliament to make a fool of us.
We know what the problems are in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't think that they don't know what the problems are.
That's what I'm going to get to.
There is a CARICOM report, a 2019 CARICOM report that suggests that Trinidad and Tobago is a transshipment hub from Venezuela to America, and, to the Americas and to other continents.
And it had reports before that.
And reports before that.
Yes.
Now, the only commissioner of police, and I'll give him his credit, that came and tried to polygraph police officers, especially in the southwestern peninsula, is Gary Griffith. All right? Police officers kicked against that. At this moment, what you have in Trinidad and Tobago is no laws working with each other. No laws work with each other. When an officer charges you and don't come to court, the state had to pay that money instead of the officers. All right? One of the things that we say is that the officers should be held liable. So therefore, they don't just go out and arrest random people. The chowman, as you just brought up, hit him 7 charges and then that is it. If you understand what I'm saying there, no laws work with each other. We have a constitution in Trinidad and Tobago that doesn't work for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is why during the COVID-19 pandemic, you see where the Prime Minister could have come and called a state of emergency or do this and suppress certain laws that are constitutional laws. And there's a clip there that I have that for later tonight actually, where someone is interacting with a police officer and he busts out some, explicit words. In the United States, in any other real country, in a country that's actually working properly,
Body cams.
Yeah, but body cams as well.
They
but freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Freedom of expression is freedom of expression.
Correct.
No individual can come and suppress that. Whether you want to say F you, however you want to express yourself within the parameters of the law, it is lawful to do so. And you see that they take them to court and they win that way. And I'm saying all this to tell you, in Trinidad and Tobago, nothing works at all.
It's a system.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. Because the government evenly distributed all the potholes throughout Trinidad.
Now, I want to touch on what you said, right, with the use of obscene language as well, right? When you have a Prime Minister who comes onto the television in a state of emergency during a pandemic and says, well, I believe you all know the scene, what he came out and said, right? The scene, right?
Yeah.
And that made social media infamy.
Exactly.
Right? All across Trinidad and Tobago. We made songs about it, we remixed it, right? But today, if I want to walk out of my house and stop my tool and use obscene language and explicit language, and a policeman pass, charge, lock up, courthouse on Monday.
And these are things that we see and you see, sorry, Adana, but when we talk as a PEP, somehow people find a way to say it's just one man talking and all you're too arrogant and all of this and all of that. But we actually speaking about things to fix Trinidad and Tobago. Let's not just say speaking about it. We want to come and fix it. We want to come and implement the changes that Trinidad and Tobago needs. But the people are so, and I don't want to use race because we just come out of Diwali and stuff like that, despite the chicken from
I am mixed. I am very much mixed. So, I am mixed. So, there's nothing, for me, how I put it is that it's a human race. Right? There's nothing like race.
But then what is wrong with Trinidad and Tobago?
What I can tell you from observation for a very long time, and I've been sitting down and I've observed the youth to women, to the older heads, to the younger, to the little children. The problem is that it's a systematic breakdown of the human being a human being. People are becoming more inhumane, that's one. People have no respect for the elderly, they have no respect for the younger ones as well. The adults as well don't have respect for the younger children, because children as well have their own mental capacity to think for themselves and do things. We as a society look at the teenagers, like this gentleman here, this young gentleman here. We would say, he don't know what he's saying. You know, the older people will say that he don't know what he's saying. His opinion does not have a regard.
Because of his age.
Because of his age. But what the society is failing to understand is that an adult can learn something from a baby.
Correct.
Right? And the system of the society is having an actual breakdown.
Yeah.
We can come together and say, for the entire government, we could say it's the government, but also the government is also the people.
Yeah.
And the people who are working for us, which is the present people in power, or they're of the opposition, they work for us. And we as a society need to understand the demographic that we are the government. We have to look to do or deal with things that push us forward as a society and as a people. This race diversification that people have been fed for 1,000 years in this country is a very weak notion. And when people can say that, okay, you're Indian, you're Chinese, you're this, I'm mixed with everything. So for me, I don't see race. What I see is people. What I see is a love for country. What I see is a love for the children. What I see is love and respect for the teenagers. It's sad as seeing through the industries that I've been through over the years of watching young people, like this young man here, right? He's speaking for his youth, right? People would brush it aside and say, what he's saying, that's not making sense. What he has a valid point, because he can speak from their era. We have to understand as the elderly going forward that our youth is our future. And without that, we have nothing, right? Even the police, the ministers, everybody have children. Where your future lies is your children. And when you fail your children, like this incident that is happening with these young children being killed all over, you are failing your nation, you're failing a state, you're failing your country, you're failing your countrymen. We need as a people to bind together as one. And this one Indian, this one black, this one, we need to protect our family. We all talk about the village conversation. It takes a village to bring up a child. I grew up with my both grandparents, and I'm telling you, the morals and values that stand behind that. We're not even seeing the older people can even talk to the young children now because of the values of their parents. So it's a societal damage and breakdown in the system. We could blame the government and say, yes, it's them, but they need to put the correct things into perspective, which is laws. If the laws are not adhered and followed to by the citizens of the land and not executed correctly, now you can have laws, but if it's not executed correctly, then it would not function. So we as a society, we as a group, as the Progressive Empowerment Party, we coming forward with different vision, different mindset. As if the people of this country really wants that,
Exactly.
right? Or they will just stay in the same circle, spinning around and around. As a present moment, as we look and we sit down, as all of us on this panel can understand, we are sitting and we observing that this country is on autopilot. We have a leader, right, which is our Prime Minister. I have no qualms with him to say as a man, but as the leader of this country, he needs to step to the plate to show, well, listen, this is not how this is going to go, this is not how that going to
He
go.
don't know where the plate is.
Right? But I don't know. But it's sad to look at, to see our youths and our younger generation, all those guys who are holding guns and all those things. The simplest thing that they need, because over the years I've had guys from Laventille, well gangster, they were in all sorts of things, and they work for me. And they're the most intellectual youths you could come across.
And loving.
And loving.
And loving.
There are guys who were cooking in my house. One passed away because, you know, he ended up succumbing to gang violence in a car passing. There was one that hurt my heart because he used to take an hour I think he used to take more longer than me to dress, to go out. And he's a friend of the family, but he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a stray bullet hit him in a car while he was going down Laventille. And I cried like a baby, and they were wondering, but how you could associate. It's not that. You see, you have to subtract the stigma that they put on Laventille and Beetham and these areas. These boys, if you give them the opportunity
that's what
and the way, they would change. You understand? They wouldn't want to pick up a gun. You understand?
A lot of people grew up
because they want a better life.
Yeah.
So they think this is the faster and the easier way. You would put CPEP in front of them and this in front of them, but that's not what they want. If you ask a civil youth of this country, I'm sure if I ask him, what do you want to be in the future? He could be the future prime minister, but are they giving him the road and the opportunity and the chance to do so?
They are not.
Yeah.
You said there that it takes a village to raise a child. I don't know how much I believe that statement again. Huh?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. That the society systematically broke down somewhere, where the elderly and the young the young people don't even say good morning
Adana,
anymore.
you know what happened there? The quality of life over the years has dropped very bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people living in under stressful conditions.
Yeah.
Long time. Think about it. You could have a family with. You could have 15 children.
Yes, long time.
Right?
It had an old woman
Everything
who
was
had
different.
13, 14 children.
Right.
How is that different to now? Like, okay, a woman will have 14 children and they would look at her as like, all right, she's looking for a handout and that's her situation.
No,
okay.
the difference,
but
Adana,
they don't
is...
know. There's so many things.
The difference is this. Long time you have a house, you'll be planting. Everybody has a plant or something in the yard.
Correct.
Right? As children, you grow up and you're going out and see about animals, the chickens, feeding the ducks, whatever, right? And it's your own chicken you might be killing on a weekend to cook.
Yeah.
Right? Your garden, fruits and vegetables from the garden.
Correct.
Right? And on the whole, things was better.
It was better.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could afford to do that. And then that same family and community seen by the children.
But Adana spoke about a breakdown in the society somewhere.
Yeah.
Homes, look at the homes.
There's the homes, there's the nucleus. The nucleus homes is, okay, we have a system where single mothers, they're single mothers. How did they become single mothers? We have to address that. Where the men in the society are not upholding their position as fathers.
Correct.
Right? So this falls under the woman's arm, right? Where you have to strengthen and empower women.
Correct.
In order to strengthen, because a woman is the home. A man is the provider. That's how it's done from the beginning of time.
Now, sorry for cutting you there.
Go.
because one of the problems that it was probably a problem back then.
I wouldn't say so,
I can't see that as a problem now.
I wouldn't say that because I have an uncle who was an old policeman.
Yeah.
And he migrated to St. Vincent. Now every district, long time, them old man used to be kind of sweet man kind of thing. And he migrated to another country. But he have children everywhere. But back then, there was a civil between the women. I don't know how they did that. Where they all understood each other, respected each other, but they all got along. But that man maintained his home. He was there for each child.
Yeah.
But our youths that we have today don't do that. The young guys just, okay, they have fun with a girl, the child get pregnant, he forget about it and he go on to the next thing. And the girl is left there to foot the bill of probably working KFC, going here, going there to try to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Now when you have a situation like that, we start singing, they're looking for handout. It's not necessarily that. We have some greedy people, I'm not despiting that they look for handout, but they are the people who really need the assistance and the help. But when they do go to get that help, there's no really much help for that because there's so much bureaucracy and red tape. It's like jumping over hurdles before they can even get to anything.
No, Mr. Dan, I want to ask you something, right?
Yeah.
When you go into social welfare, right? So ask for social assistance grants, right?
Right.
How much money is in again? Max?
15?
15.
$1,500.
1,500 to 1,000 somewhere there.
$1,500 a month alone.
Alone.
And that isn't automatically applied per child.
Yeah.
You have to apply for each
child,
individual child. And you're not even sure to get it. Because
but in Europe, right? In Europe.
No, wait. Let me march breaks here, right? Because first of all, okay, You're in a jam and you go for assistance and you get a grant. But
Well,
that
there are
shouldn't
two jams.
that shouldn't be my focus.
Yeah.
Me in government, my focus should be to help you get back on your foot
Exactly.
and to put something in place where you could see about
Elevate
yourself.
from
So
there,
at
yeah.
some
Yes.
point,
Yeah.
you don't need that grant again.
You can't do that for all of Trinidad and Tobago.
No,
Why
hold
Because
on.
the government simply cannot
Di-
do that
di-
for all
no,
of
Which
Trinidad
government
and
you talking
Tobago.
about? This
David-
worthless government.
David, just now, wait.
I'm
hold on.
talking about a PEP government.
No, I agree what he's
A
saying.
PEP government
Right.
simply cannot do that for all of Trinidad
No,
and
no, no.
Tobago.
It could be done, but it could be done under a system.
Listen,
A lot
listen.
of people say that, and I catch myself saying it as well. Every citizen in this country can get $1 million. It might be true, but what we could do with that $1 million is a thing.
Exactly, and this is why we have to educate the people as to.
No,
as to-
no, Mr. Welch, I'm asking something, right? This is law when you go into Europe and when you go into France.
Thank you.
When you lose your job in France,
Thank you.
for up to 2 years, the government is obligated to
Need to-
pay you a
I-
stipend.
Thank
could-
you.
I could
Sorry,
agree
That's
with
where
that.
I was going.
When
Thank
you're in
you.
I
Europe,
could agree with
when
that.
you're in Europe and you
Yeah.
are hungry, you can walk into an establishment
Yeah.
whereby they take the refuse, well I shouldn't say refuse, but the close to expired goods
Right.
from the groceries that the groceries cannot sell, that they mark off.
Right.
They take those goods and they redistribute it out to the population.
Right.
So that if you don't have food to
Correct.
eat on a morning, you could walk in there, right? Show your ID card.
Yes.
With your basket,
Yes.
how many goods you want, you can collect.
Thank
Why
you.
can't we do the same thing in Trinidad? Where do the goods go?
And what that will do?
Hold on.
Wait. Let me say this. You know what that will do? Reduce crime.
Crime.
Reduce crime.
If
Simple
it
as
was that we were to walk around Port of Spain, the
No.
city corporation.
No,
Sorry.
no. Hold on, You'll see now what I was just saying about him. An older person would say that he doesn't have that knowledge,
Yeah,
but he does.
Exactly.
Because I was getting to say exactly what he's saying.
But
and he
we,
said it
we
for me.
just moved from that point straight to into next year or something like that. You just brought up a point about the breakdown of the homes in Trinidad
Right.
and Tobago, all right? I say it's long past that narrative.
No. There are some places that still happen.
I say it's a long past the
No,
narrative.
it still happens in some
because
places, like in the countryside, that happens.
in the countryside, no problem. But when we talk about that, we
Yes.
also have to mention one of the main things that causing poverty in Trinidad and Tobago today, and that is
Lack-
young people like myself and Precious. I'm going to
Lack
use
of
as an
opportunity.
example. Looking for people like Precious, getting Precious impregnated and leaving Precious alone.
Right.
Young mothers. Sorry,
Oh my.
Young mothers, young parents. We have a lot of young parents today. I have friends that are young parents, a lot of young parents today. And then they work in jobs like KFC, you just mentioned
Yes,
that, right?
yes.
Because these are the only things that they can get. Coming out of Laventille, East Move, and places that are, and you brought up stigmatization.
Yeah, there's stereotyping because I know of that. I have had a friend from Laventille. I did not call her name, but Gail, you know yourself if you're watching. She has 7 distinctions, 7 passes, right? And she worked in the Ministry of Finance years ago. But in order for her to get that job, she had to change her address.
Yeah, that
Not,
was
not,
a
the,
thing.
not the
Right?
only case I've heard of.
It's,
so
it,
far.
it has nothing to do, it's just the area. From the time they see the area,
The right you off.
they're like, no. And she had 7 passes. Now she has left Trinidad because she's outgrown Trinidad and she's gone to a further her studies abroad and so forth. But before that, she couldn't get that job unless she changed her address.
And
No,
that
yes.
has been happening with a lot of people in the past, you know. If they heard you're from Moba, immediately they stigmatize you with all the negativity
Yeah.
that they can come up in their minds,
Yeah.
right? And you may have the best person, they may even be much more
Qualified.
than the person who lives in Central or San Fernando or Westmoreland.
Yep.
But because of where they are, and the thing is, when employers employing someone, they think, okay, if they're from MOVA, probably their behavioral patterns will be just like them. So I don't want to hire them because even though they're educated, I hire them in my workplace and, you know, there's a conflict situation. They get somebody from down there to come and deal with the employee. So all of that you look at, but you should never stigmatize anyone because you don't know their capabilities. And if you had take the time to just think about it and say, okay, let me choose this person because I believe in their potential and their ability to do the job, they could have moved your company from point A to point B in a shorter period of time. But you know, it's very sad. It's very sad that that was a part of our society and still is, you know, underlyingly. But I think we are moving past that slowly.
No,
right?
no, I want to answer that, right? Because when you say that, and then the minister of education and the minister in the Ministry of Education comes out, it goes into Parliament and says that the issue of school violence is so rampant and such a big problem that they need to put police officers in the schools,
and
right?
further stigmatize the same schools
right,
and then trying to destigmatize.
Exactly, and then basically treat children like criminals who have yet to commit a crime, and then when they come out of school and actually commit a crime, you're surprised.
The psychological.
Exactly, there's a psychological aspect.
These people need help.
And then to state, right, that, well, the issue of school violence is a school problem, and even this lady, right, Miss she's a professor, she's the vice principal of UWI St. Augustine, Miss Rhoda Raddock, right? In 2018, she came out with a statement that the issue of crime is a gender-based problem, right? You cannot make a generalization like that, right? But then you come out and state, right, that that you're treating children like criminals before they have the ability to the capability to commit a crime, right? This is policy in the Ministry of Education. You pass for a school. Let me say that you're living in Laventille, right? All your choices, right? Because they give you a choice in whatever school you want to go, right? You put schools outside of town, and yet you get put in Success Laventille, right? And you go into Success Laventille. The policy is you have to wait a whole year and spend a whole year in Success Laventille, even though you applied for a transfer, before you even buy any books on your book list, before you even know what the uniform looks like. You have to wait, you put in your transfer, but you still have to wait a whole year and spend a whole year in that school where anything can happen to you. I'm not bagging on Success Laventille. Anybody from Success Laventille, I'm sorry, but I'm not bagging on you.
You're looking at one because I now got to jump out now.
But you still have to spend a whole year in that school, and then you don't even know what school they're going to put you in after the fact.
So you see that issue, and you know I will play the PEP spokesperson because I am. But we have a fix for that with the 10-year schools that we plan to do in each constituency. So we're gonna do away with the issue of stigmatization and the zoning into schools outside of your community and build your community.
But that is an excellent notion that you'll have as one of your policies. Reason being, if a child is groomed from baby, from let's say first year, straight up second year, go right up to the final to go into like a university abroad or University of Trinidad and Tobago, right? This child will be knowing these teachers coming straight. There will be no interruptions. Any psychologist that is watching this will understand that.
But not just that. If you look at the report cards from children from primary school up to about standard 5, and you see they getting at least A's, B's, C's.
And C's.
As you go into Form 1, it starts to drop off, incline, and then it's stagnant there.
Yeah, because there's a breakage in the system where you have to go now to meet new children, new teachers, and that's another psychological thing.
Friends and
friends,
New environment, a new social environment.
So that would couple and end that. So therefore,
depression comes in there.
Yes, not only that as well too, it also helps with the child grooming going forward, and then you have fruitful adults. Right?
And don't forget we taking away the SCA and that too.
Yes. But
GPA system.
That comes back into the village forum that I was speaking about earlier. It takes a village to bring a child, right? Even in the school, your teachers become your parents. Now, I respect teachers. Because the teachers I had back then was in Belmont at a time, and those teachers treat you, they like your mommy and your daddy.
They are, technically.
When you leave your home, those are the teachers that make sure you're straight. I'm sure it hardly have schools where they tell you to put your fingers out to see the length of your nails, and if your clothes tattered, because I'm seeing children.
And color in your hair.
And if your ribbon is missing, they don't do those things anymore. That is real school. I don't know what they have going on now, and then they expect the children now that coming out of that unwrapped, unfrizzled environment, expect them to be normal human beings.
Now hold that thought, Adana. Hold that thought, because we have to talk about corporal punishment now. But we'll talk about corporal punishment. So hold on, because I'm gonna go into something else. But before we go for the commercial break, because we're going for a commercial break, one of the things that you basically spoke about from Europe is the Build a Basket program that we're talking about for the government.
Yeah, something like
Felicia, hold up, Build a Basket. But
Hey,
That's right.
yes.
so, you know, we won't have to do that if it is.
No, but it's possible.
No, but we won't have to do it because we have a population of 1.4,
Yeah.
1.3, 1.4 million. Venues, if all they come in, that's 9 times.
Yeah.
Venues, if all they come in, it could go up to 1.6 or something, right? But we have a population of 1.4 million people. If we employ people, if we fix the banking sector that we want to fix, as well in the Progressive Reform Party, everybody can live life comfortable in Trinidad and Tobago. Agreed?
Correct.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Nice. The only thing it would take is for you to put a pep in your step. We'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. Just hit tab, boy. Just hit tab.
You like Stefan, man?
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,700 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity. All at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
Tactical Enterprises Limited, located at Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia. They wholesale and retail cellular phones and cellular accessories, smart home automation products, portable Bluetooth speakers, office chairs, and ideal gifts for the young generation. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Tactical Enterprises or call 716-2900, 469-9900 or 325-0000. Tactical Enterprises Limited, Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia, where style meets technology.
Arichel Homes, a loving, safe, caring senior care living facility where your family becomes our family. Our experienced caregivers are trained and overseen by our registered nurse who has years of experience in psychiatric nursing and working with geriatrics. We provide a safe living environment for your loved ones. Come and visit us. We are located at 4 Roads in Diego Martin. Arichel Homes, we are family. View us on Facebook, Arichel Homes. Contact us at 684-2873 or 468-3186.
Welcome back on the Inside Trinidad and Tobago. This is What's Next. I feel like we have to change the name of the show now.
To what, David?
I don't know. I mean, what
And
coming?
what's next? What's happening?
What's happening? What's next on the agenda for real? I said corporal punishment was something. I see my boy across here ready to talk about corporal punishment. But before we go to corporal punishment,
before. I wasn't going to corporal. Before we go to that, with the GPA, with the schools, I just want to go in a little detail with that. If you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? So the school's going to be 10-year schools, right? And each teacher is responsible for giving a child a GPA, right? The sum of the students in the class will determine the teacher's GPA, right? The sum of the teachers in the school will determine the principal GPA, right? And this way now, that will happen in each school, and the Minister of Education will be able to watch figures now and see, well, okay, this school GPA is this, that one, and you'll see one low, and you say, okay, cool, I'm going to visit that principal. You go to the principal, hey, what's going on here? Let me see your breakdown with your teachers. And when you're watching, you see on average is whatever figure, and then you see one low. You can go to that specific teacher and see, well, okay, cool, she have 5 students doing real bad in her class and not bringing down her GPA. And when you investigate further, you realize one student might have vision issues, next one have hearing issues, right? And you get to the problem, and then now you could take that child and put that child in a specific class that would be beneficial to him or her, depending on the issue. Some children more handy, like me, I do wood, anything with my hands I could do, right? I might be that academic. I went to Fatima College, but if I go to a proper trade school, there's problems right now with me, right? I learned trade on my own. The only thing I come out of Fatima with, well, maths of course, technical drawing, But based for what I'm doing now, that's the only two things basically I'm in English.
Now, with regards to vocational schools and learning how to do trade, that is something as well that needs to be destigmatized as well in this society, especially because I will tell you, labor men making a certain money, you know.
Yes.
Labor men, but a mason making a bag of money, you know.
Mason and
Right now it's
fireman
450, 500 a mason
And
working for.
Let me explain something to you, right? What society needs to understand, you have to respect from the garbage man come down. Because this is how this really happens. Without a carpenter, you can't have a house. Without a mason, you can't get the blocks to build that big mansion that you like. With all you have is the contractor that come in, that taking your contract, but he have to get and feel out for all the workers. Where you think all these workers coming from? Same Laventil, same Vitam,
Hello.
And you know what?
Hold on.
Wait.
But these people coming from China. What is your problem?
No, but that's a very big issue as well, because we are talking about Guyana is developing and Guyana is getting forward. Who do you think is mining gold and precious minerals in Guyana right now? Chinese men as well. In all over Africa, all over parts of the world, it's Chinese men.
Yes.
The thing for this is that we have skilled people in this country.
We do.
And if we really know how to market things,
They leave in.
it will work.
Correct.
There are no opportunities,
Right?
so they leave in. They go in.
That is why we have to fix it. Because if we don't fix it, we're going to have no country, and this is the reality that people are putting their heads in the sand and burying it and singing there and there for nonsense, but they're not understanding that this is the reality. When you leave and all these little children just stay there, it's gonna be. You ever heard of a country that have a brain drain?
Yeah.
It's gonna end up
That's
looking
what
a
it
little
is.
bit like Haiti.
We supposed to
More
be
like
looking to the
More like
future
Venezuela.
with
No,
respect to education.
With respect to education.
Look into the future.
Yeah.
Meaning, if we know in five years we need biologists because we plan to do XYZ.
We will have
right? At that point, you come out, you go to university now, and you want to study biology, right? The government now say, well, okay, cool. We know we need 100 biologists, so we say, all right, we're gonna pay for 100 people who want to go there.
So you
But
need like Cuba Motley Trading, because we brought in doctors. We already have skilled labor in Trinidad, but we brought in Cuban doctors to staff outfit.
Yeah, but our doctors
that
are
hospital.
so
We would have because we would have been preparing for that. So if we know we're building a new hospital and we need 100 doctors,
So like Central Block Port of Spain too.
we would take our own people and prepare
But
them.
we're not doing that.
It's not even that. It's like
doing that. We
it's
should
not
be
even
doing
that.
that. That's what we should be
The other day I went into Arima General, right? The hospital they spent so long to build up. I went in there for a fit for work, a piece of paper, a slip of paper, yeah big. I went in, right, from 4 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon.
What time they come out?
8 o'clock. By 7 o'clock they took us and they transferred us across from GP over to accidents and emergencies. But here's the thing, they already had a waiting room of 30 people in accidents and emergencies that they had to see about first. So I had to sit down there for another hour, and by 8 o'clock I left and I didn't even have the fit for work.
So hold on, you went to a breakfast, tea party, brunch,
Everything.
dinner, fest,
Yeah.
Arima.
Yeah.
That's what I call it, you know. That's what I call it.
My mother went all over the country looking for medicine and she couldn't get some. She went Port of Spain, they said they had no medicine. This is for my brother. She went to Arima, they didn't have. She had to go Grand Couva and she live in Aruka. Why?
Because things are failing.
No, do not go to the public hospital. Go and buy it in my pharmacy.
Why?
over there.
Anyway, so before people start to plug the business here and pressure start to plug Tasty Eats, let's
That
move on.
is exactly it.
So
You have doctors working in the public
a
system,
private practice.
and they have their own, and and some of them tell you, I'm not bashing the doctors. It's only a few, but they will tell you straight. We can't do this in the hospital, but go and check.
well, we go start to talk about Terrence's wife there, and then we go start to talk about color.
Wait, Unicom?
No, let me move on from that. You're looking for lawsuits. So you spoke about skilled labor in Trinidad and Tobago. You also spoke about education, and you said something real nice there. We're not looking forward into the future. Because if we were, we would have realized that shutting down Petrotrain is not a good idea. We would have realized that shutting down the sugar industry was not a good idea.
They could have restarted the sugar industry.
Don't start with no restart there.
No. The thing is, we supplied sugar. Now we importing sugar.
Well, there's a certain
I'm trying to
man.
understand the max.
There's a certain man that came to say that you have to level every playing field in Trinidad and Tobago just to plant rice. But let me finish. Asal Metal, don't forget we have steel in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
We Scrap Iron Dealers Association. We had everything. We had everything. Who we run out again? We run out Unilever.
Yeah.
We run out the cement company. What is it called?
Who is
TCL?
TCL.
No,
the other one, the one that
there's Rockard. We run out. You see, there's no open market in Trinidad. I don't know why people think there's an open market. You don't have
red tape right wrong the whole
monopolization takes place in Trinidad and Tobago.
We run Jawala out of
we
the
run
central
them.
bank.
Yes.
And right now, we have to pay for that, right?
Well, not just that. The UNC put us in a fiasco with the airport. But somehow people think that's the PNM now.
Why it is the taxpayers had to pay for that?
Because we stupid.
You could
no,
assess
it's
the situation
because we're stupid.
Well, you're right, but they should assess the situation and say, okay, Mr. Imbert, Mr. So and Mr. So is responsible for firing Jawala.
The moment we hold them accountable,
you all will pay his fees.
It all falls back into the agenda of if I can take away the private sector and make everything public, whereby I can then inject my own people into these different divisions and these different departments of the government, and then I can pump in how much hundreds of millions of dollars into these different departments, and then they can work for me to do absolutely
nothing. Say
that
again. If you remove the private for public, that's what I'm saying.
No, if you remove the private sector, right, and basically take the public sector and gain control over what was formerly private and make it into a subsidized government institution, and then you can then put in your own people into those different institutions, for hundreds of millions of dollars and give out contracts.
Yes.
As he's speaking, that similar scenario as we went through,
So you see where we need more money.
But that is not what happening,
Not what happening, but it's what is in.
It's not what is happening. You see, what is really happening is that they are moving the public sector into the private sector, so therefore their friends and families can benefit while they subsequently benefit by saving more tax-paying dollars. Because now you don't have to spend money in public health and refinery. You can save that.
Yeah.
All the billions of dollars that the state was supposedly making from the Petrotrin refinery, where's that? Where that gone? We pay no blasted. We spend no more in any additional things. COVID billions of dollars. China donated or loaned us billions of dollars, 200, which we have to pay back.
Listen. Right now they're just throwing everything at us, so that it will be too much for anybody to keep track of anything.
They're trying to show us that. They're trying to tell us in Trinidad and Tobago that the reason why gas prices go up is because of Russia, Ukraine. Well, in Barbados it's cut by half. Exactly. In other countries it's cut by half. In the United States of America it's not that high. In Trinidad and Tobago, however, they are telling us that the reason why it's this high is because the states
complaining, just buy a bicycle.
When they said that to me,
shit.
I don't even know how to ride a bicycle.
Don't complain. And when you go to the passport office, park your bike by the burglar proof by the front gate and put a lock and chain around it.
But let me
and ride in the middle of the road.
Yeah, but
right? That's what you have to do.
Yeah, but if it is that you could park your car outside of Belmont police station and come back outside after making a report and your car on force in that block.
But don't go there yet, don't go there yet.
This government is a joke.
Let me answer this question.
This government is a joke.
You spoke about private becoming public, right? It's not so easy the other way around. Look at Nutrimix. When Prime Minister Rowley went to open Nutrimix, all right? It's a private entity. He spoke about moving the permanent secretary in a ministry and having it controlled by the private sector. Understand something? That the permanent secretaries are the ones that run the whole ministry, not the minister, no. The permanent secretary. If he talk about that becoming private, what is man doing?
Listen, the permanent secretaries are the ones that they can't move.
So it basically coming like
they're the ones playing the
They want to do legislations, make it private, so therefore their friends and families could benefit. They can benefit.
So it's basically like positions for higher then?
Of course.
For the highest, okay, so the highest bidder come, they take that position and they go.
I wish I had this clip loaded up. If I was only the one behind the computer, I would have played this for you. But Philip Edward Alexander spoke about it.
Yes.
The atrium of the airport, private, I don't want to call names people because that lawsuit, but someone who is managing, CEO and stuff like that, put his own franchise
in a spot that was basically set aside for cultural exhibitions and all of that.
What is it?
Nepotism.
Nepotism. But not only that, when you look at Wildflower Park, that's our park, you know.
Maybe.
That's state park, you know, like public park.
Public park.
And then you had a private entity just call his people.
I doesn't want to come down this road, but when you think about things and you get into the religious aspect of things, right? The point, you see, I see life from a simple aspect, right? It's like this. We are all here, the human race. No race, like, I don't see him, I see all.
She don't see my people, she don't see my.
No, I just see all of you all as the same. I don't see
You don't see
anybody,
color.
I don't see that, whatever that is, that they is really going on with. I don't know what that is. That, I think that's an illness.
Like Trump.
But no. But what I'm saying, when I'm getting to the crux of the matter is this: we came here on a planet. We met things here. Why are we being so prodigious? When we die, we can't go with it.
Because apparently
the thing about it is that
Chinese
cherish
come
cherish what we actually have. You understand? Which is within our reach, like our country. We should be self-sustaining with food. Do you know if you look at an 18-something video of Trinidad and Tobago back then, we supplied plastic, cars, furniture, we supplied soft drinks, we supplied candy to the world, we supplied oil, we supplied gas, we supplied pitch, we supplied cocoa, we supplied
all these things, yeah.
I didn't even know this until my grandmother gave me that story, and I was taken aback. Actually, tanker bean, right, was done and given to France, right, to get the essence to make perfume. We supply that. My area supply that. That's why there's so many different trees up there. But the thing is, we don't see what we have as richness.
No. It's not taught in schools.
Well, not even taught.
It's not because
we should
young
be glad
people.
for what we have, because I have had my cousin husband come to this country, and I'm telling you, I went down into the car seat like this. I sat. I was so embarrassed. This man lived in Sweden. Has business all over Switzerland and Germany, right? He's an elite of Germany. And he came in, he said, oh, what's wrong with your roads? But your pitch come from the Autobahn, and the Autobahn by us. What is wrong with this road? And I was in the back seat trying to get down. So I can't answer this question and turn my head out the window. I was so embarrassed because the man is looking at all the bump, and he's saying, but pitch come from Trinidad. And there's a sign. There was actually a sign on the side of the road, he said. From whatever company that got it. And then you see asphalt from Trinidad and Tobago.
It's a shame. No,
You
I'll
must
tell you.
be
Look,
shame as a person, and this man is in the country. But what's wrong with your roads?
No,
what's
look-
wrong?
look at
Why is
any-
there so many bumps and holes?
look at any video of Venezuela, of any city from Venezuela. Venezuelans coming across here by the droves, you know, who going in wicker box to come across like coffin, right? The country has, well, I should say, mismanaged the resources and so on, right? But if you look at any video, any aerial drone shot of Venezuela, the road's clean.
The roads real.
In the worst slum in Venezuela, the road's nice.
Yeah, the roads.
Better than the road right outside.
But they were a country that was sustained with everything as well. You know?
Yeah, gold, the
They
largest
had the
deposit
largest
of oil and gas in the world, you know.
world. And to see where they have arrived, and we just next door.
And following.
And following.
And following.
Mismanagement.
But the history of Trinidad is that we were a bit joined to them, huh? In some years back. Huh?
Hello, my grandmother come from
No,
Venezuela.
we were joined to
Yeah, we
Venezuela.
joined
Actually,
blood-wise
we
also.
were the hub that supplied Venezuela through World War I or World War II, one of the two. I'm not sure. I am stand to be corrected. And the pilots used to land there to send food and stuff inland from us. But over time, you know, we break off and we drift across and whatnot, and that's how we got Trinidad and Tobago and whatnot. But Trinidad is vast with culture, with diverse people. We should embrace as people, as one, and this nonsense that a narrative that these people push, they should be embarrassed to stand on a world front stage, knowing your reputation, like fellas like Marsha Montano, fellas like Bungie, fellas like
Kes.
the athletes everywhere going to England, performing and making the country seem so lovely to the outer world that everybody's want to run to come here for our greatest show on the earth, which is Carnival. And at the end of the day, y'all there stand up talking on international news, embarrassing us about race and who this and that's so unbecoming and classless to me. I just find it's just classless. And as a culture, we should band together and really stop this who white, who black, who Indian, who Negro. We are all one.
That will take some time.
That can take some time. It's just a mental thought.
It is ingrained in every aspect of our
when
culture.
You think, if you think mentally, constantly, I am a dog, are you going to walk on for the rest of your life thinking I am a dog?
No, but when you consider the fact that the United National Congress was formed as a conglomeration of every single Hindustani party that was in Trinidad and Tobago at a point in time.
So then half of Trinidad has been mind controlled and brainwashed.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Control. Some more control.
It sounds almost like somebody has been practicing something from
But
Russia.
they go on the TV. I listened to the Minister of Education in Parliament today while I'm driving on the radio. I don't know if it's a recording or what. And she's talking about how much they have accomplished with the education system.
Where?
And I was like, how?
And you had to put police in schools, and you have no books to give children, and children had to sit down on their foot, and they have no desk, and they have no bench.
How they could do that? How she, as a godly person, she portray herself to be, go and say all these things so confidently.
How much schools in Trinidad and Tobago, in Central and South, are closed because of pigeon infestation, because the roof caving in, because they have no benches and no tables and nothing like that?
That's not her fault. That's not the ministry fault. That's the contractor's fault. And that's what they do. Oh, we have a contractor and the contractor didn't finish the work properly. It's their fault, right? It's the people who maintain the drain. They're supposed to clean the drain. They didn't clean the drain. It's their fault.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
It's not our problem. It's not our problem. It's not the minister's problem. It's the people who they pay not doing it.
It's a societal problem.
It's them problem.
That is
no, you ain't getting my point. I'm being sarcastic.
I'm going to say this.
I'm being sarcastic.
Tobago will agree with me 100% with this, right? Trinis go over to Tobago, right? I've seen this in action.
Different.
And they dirty the place and then come. Let me tell you something. I've been to Barbados. I've been to a lot of Caribbean islands, and I'm telling you, when you walk, you don't see a speck of pit. You wondering to yourself. They don't even have vagrants.
Adana. Excuse me, I go to Tobago, and if I go on the beach, right, and I am sitting here in Reliament, and I have a garbage bag to put my stuff, and I see a heap of stuff there, and it have room in the bag, I'll pick it up.
And
so
when
so don't say Trini, say some, please.
No. When Trinis go to Tobago now, when Trinis go to Tobago now, the people that take you or you to an island pool.
Yeah.
Where you from, Trinidad? $100.
Exactly. No, because I remember that because my father married a woman who lived in Tobago, right? And then they went across and he went to this resort and the sign said locals free. So he showed his ID card. Bam. They said, where you from? Because he obviously is Eastern Indian descent, right? And in Tobago, if you walk around, they kind of look at you different, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's sad, but it's the facts. When you go there, and then he said, where you from? Well, I'm from Trinidad. All right, well, you had to pay. But it's locals free? No, you had to pay because you're not from Tobago.
It's disgusting. But all you talk about schools and the development of schools, there was a sum of 500 million when Anthony Garcia was there that was allocated for the refurbishment of some schools. Was that ever given?
Oh gosh, that's for one of them pocket. Oh gosh, you get past that now, man. You don't understand that yet.
No, let me just write off that corruption.
What do you mean?
When they stamp the pressure, I'm stamp that seal, that gone.
It's crazy what's going on in this country. I see the Ministry of Works put out a release today with the Cocoreed flooding.
Oh God.
Right? They say, they have been dealing with that. And phase one was when they put the barrels, because they had cut the road and put some new barrels go across on the westbound side, right? And they say, well, it's an ongoing thing on the eastbound side. The drains that I film, that I say, if they clean that alone will pull the water. They say that's an ongoing thing. They had to clean the drain and then they're going to build a drain from the magazine straight up to the terrace.
Again.
Right?
Again.
But ongoing when? You start that Saturday. Ongoing when?
They make people
Oh,
think
gosh,
that
man.
happened
That
to
is
that
why,
woman.
that is why I said it's a
Oh,
systematic
gosh.
breakdown.
Thank you.
Right? Because if you had proper things like ministries working in hand in hand,
Cohesiveness.
right? To deal with housing, developments, different things. The water, you see, water is a thing. And
They're not capable of that, Adana.
Oh God.
This government,
Water,
not capable.
There
water
is-
finds its way anywhere it needs to go. It doesn't matter what. If a tsunami comes, it's going to find its way
Hey,
in and
God,
out.
God, hey, listen.
I'm
forbid,
just
God
saying.
forbid.
God forbid.
Let's-
God forbid, but they can't.
Anyway, like
handle
come, I
that.
live in Mova, you know, I live in a
No,
surrounded by the
yeah,
mountains.
No, I like to think I like to be pragmatic with regards to things, right? And history
Yeah.
has shown us that whenever any dictator, and let me be honest, because that man in Venezuela is a dictator, right? Anytime that a dictator in history is failing, the first thing they do is they look for a smaller nation to go to war against to try to win, right? Trinidad and Tobago has a standing regiment of 5,000, if we could say so much. In Venezuela, there's an active conscription where the army makes up 13 million people.
Yeah, everybody's trained by the age of a certain age.
Exactly.
All the youths. You see, if they used to do that in Trinidad, like implement all the young men
Active
as
conscription.
they
Be
reach
out of
18
control
and
now.
make it, and make it, they would learn discipline.
No, I mean like with that now.
No.
Like now with Raul, you know.
No.
The man that fired Gary Griffith because he didn't want to.
I wouldn't say anything. You see, Gary really tried.
He did.
I give him that. He tried.
He did.
You know, and the man worked with what only tools he was given to him. So if you give the man a rake, he could only pull the leaves. You didn't give him a hoe, you didn't give him a cutlass.
Well,
you
I
didn't
know
give
about
him
that
anything.
one, I know,
No,
because
what I
it's
mean,
Kamala who say, oh, no, go ahead. Yeah,
a regular tool,
go ahead.
you know what I mean? Don't go any other way. Because
Rowley says something about that,
They
though.
like to twist things, you know? And
A man
that's
say
so
you don't go to a
child-
bar and get drunk.
The
I don't
time-
drink till I get drunk.
Listen to me, the
don't
time
drink
they
the
take
drunk.
to play memes and the time they're taking to do all those things, they could be doing progressive things on fixing the children's lives, fixing things ahead. They've got caught up into the systematic of the algorithms that they put there, you know, the Chinese and
No.
put there for them. Anyhow, as I was saying, if they started, coming back to your statement, if they started to enroll young men from the age of 18 and had it as a law that when you reach 18 you enroll into the military for training and all of that, they would have men, even if they go back into being into reserve, in case of emergency, something happened, they can defend their country.
Yeah.
That's how Venezuela has done their stuff. So all those girls who they see shaking and dancing and they calling them
They
all
did the
sorts of names,
service.
they're all trained and all equipped.
I don't know how I feel, huh?
Militant, eh?
But
I'm telling
I
you.
don't know how I feel because in today's day and age, it would only create a police state.
No, but it is, China does that, eh?
Are we not in a police state?
Not
What?
yet.
Not yet.
We
Not
go in
yet.
there. We go in there.
I will give you a story. The other night I was working I work right here in St. Clair. The other night I was working, I was coming home, this is about 7 o'clock in the night, and I went to City Gate and I stood up at Maxi. The maximum was full in and so on. I don't like to go in backseat at all to get squished up, right? Right, so I stand up there. The policeman come, himself, saying, with the battle, he watch me. He said, you man going to city? I watch him. Now I said to myself, no, my father don't even speak to me like that, right? Far less for you to tell me, a citizen who has freedom of movement, right? And freedom, once I'm not committing a crime and I'm not moving suspicious, you can't tell me what to do, right? And you tell me, go in that city. And I stood up and I watched him. I said, sorry, you could just repeat that? He said, go in that seat, boy. I said, it have any reason why I have to go in that seat in particular? But you ain't listening to me, boy, go in that seat, boy. I said, sir, I'm not going in that. I tell him, and I stood up, I said, sir, I'm not going in that seat, and I'm not going any back there. But why you're written up for police? That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. For what? For a seat in a maxi, you had to get on so and show off yourself?
Now, there's some really good police officers out there, I must admit. I've met officers where were very, very polite, well-spoken, you know, ma'am, stuff, you know. They execute the job excellently. Like, they try to stop things, they speak, you know, they calm
Exactly.
situations down. I've met officers like that. This is when Gary was there.
No.
I don't know what's transpiring now.
We're gonna
because
show you.
I've never
Director!
I've never had to say.
No. They are good. They are
are
always.
good officers.
They are good
But
officers.
But shout out
However,
everybody.
the overwhelming
But listen,
majority.
my good people, we started this show, is now freaking 8:22, and we didn't even get to the 5-year-old boy that passed away
No,
just
but let's, on behalf of myself and the panel, I would say that to the mother of that child, or those children that has been the beautiful souls has been taken away. Snuffed away before time. You know, that we really need to calm this down, this violence. And children, innocent bystanders, we didn't give life, so we shouldn't take.
Exactly.
And the thing about the rules of life is like this, the universe works like that. When you take something, you have to give something back in return. So these young men may think, you know, that was a thing, but they have to look out that the universe could deal them another hand.
I mean, as they say, you live by something, and obviously
So
you die by something.
By the
But
sword,
the
then you
thing
road.
is that the innocent lives that has to suffer
And I feel
because of
sorry for
the
them.
path that they chose, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And we could never bring back a life, no matter
Correct.
what. You could never bring back a life. But what we can do is try to bring justice to these lives. At least try and bring some closure to the family. Say, okay, this happened to your child. We are going to ensure that justice prevails. We are going to ensure that the laws, that the gun laws are going to be strengthened, and you're going to see it and give us a duration. Give us 2 years time. Say something. But if you give us nothing, what are we supposed to do? Just sit down and say, okay, which other life? It could be my little sister, my cousin, my nephew. And then what? It have to reach their doorstep for them to actually start doing something.
We have a heavy culture of victim blaming in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
It is easy to say, oh well, this young man, he went out, he was there with his friends, what he was doing there. That should not have any relevance. He died.
Yeah.
The young man was on a playground. The young man who was 7 years old before him was on a playground. Where else is he supposed to go?
That's where the system.
Where else is he supposed to be? It's the
mental
same idea that if a young lady is walking, wherever she may be walking at a certain hour of the night, whatever she may be wearing, and something happens to her, we should not immediately think, oh well, what she was doing there at that time.
Or the famous statement, she looked for that.
She looked for that.
Because in Europe, you have traveled. I'm realizing that you have traveled. In Europe and France, women wear the most skimpiest things, and you know that. And the men, and the men do not touch.
Exactly.
They don't interfere because that's a law, you know. You can't go into a club and
a few years ago when they implemented the acts with regards to carnival and so that you have to ask permission. I remember men were up in arms, you know.
Yeah.
The basic human rights to not be touched and not to be violated if you don't want to be violated or touched was something that had men in Trinidad and Tobago and some women and all I believe were up in arms about. Why should that have to be made into legislation or law for you to understand the basic human need, the basic human right to not be touched and violated if you don't want to be touched?
Exactly.
You won't go out in the road and see a woman just walking and say, hey, let me take her jam. No. Carnival is not carnival or whatever aspect of our culture you may be enjoying or whatever festivities or festival is not a gateway for you to forget yourself and for you to forget the law and respect for other people.
Morals,
That's what they don't have. Morals, no values, because it wasn't instilled in them.
Exactly.
Nothing was instilled in them.
No, but he's a good boy. I remember a few years ago there was a case.
It was, sorry to cut you off, but there was a scenario with a young woman. She was walking the streets, and these two young fellas was in a car. I think this was in St. James or Diego Martin. And the young man came out of the car, saw the woman. It was two women on the street. One was walking and one was standing. He passed by her and went by the one who was walking up, coming to the vehicle. Snatch her purse, throw her down to the ground, and bye. Bye. And who could tell me what she deserved that? Who could really tell me something?
It comes the same way that children are dying left, right, and center, and they're saying that it's okay to kill a child, and you're fine with that. And then you go on social media and you chastise this one and you chastise that one and you chastise the other one. No, look within. Look within and think for yourself. How would you feel if you actually, that's why I made a statement. I don't want to cut them straight from what I'm going to say there. I made a statement here that God could come himself, and in Trinidad they will chastise him.
Yes.
You want to know why? Because they lost that type of respect and morality for God itself. Right? God designed children, and there's a part of the scripture that says that, do not hamper my innocence or certain things will come on to thee, right? But they don't really care. They're showing that they don't care. They're going up and they're saying, oh, why the child was out at that time and all this sort of thing. A child could be anywhere at any time, any given moment, and with their mother or with their father going wherever. You don't know if they went to the movies, you don't know when for a little ice cream down the street. Does that give it the right for a child to die? And are you okay with that? So because it didn't happen to your child, it's okay to happen to someone else's, even if they're from a lower level of life or a middle level of life or elite level of life.
On their geographical location.
Yes, or the geographical location.
It don't matter.
A life
a
is
child
a life.
Is a child, exactly.
And every child everybody should stand to protect children.
Now, I'm going to say something that you're not going to like, number one, but we're going to load a break to one time, please, director. But I'm going to say something that you don't like. Had it been an Indian child or children that were dying in the abundance that black children are dying today, would have had mass protests on the streets. But hold your thought.
Had it been not, let's say
I'm being honest with you.
All right.
Had it been an Indian child that died instead of a black person child today, there would have been mass protests on the streets. They would have called the government to do something about it. But tables are turned. The black community in Trinidad and Tobago, and you could say it for yourself, we would say, you know, look, you saw the mother that came and said she thanked God, you know, God took her child away from her. That's a front page of a recent newspapers in Trinidad and Tobago. That was a black mother. There's a breakdown somewhere in the black community mainly where we simply do not care for some reason.
Do you know in Africa, people talk about black and Indian and different things, right? Listen to this. In Africa, if something like that transpires within young men, within the society or within a village, the elders of that village would hold that said child. And the repercussions is completely different. We claim to have black and we claim to have, in India it's the same thing. You'll get whipped. In certain countries you get licks. If you rape a woman, you're castrated and hanged in certain countries, you know that.
Yeah.
In certain countries if you steal, they cut off your hand. Okay, we don't have those sort of laws in Trinidad, but we follow certain things, but the narrative behind the mindset is not for what it is it really should be for, which is the children, which is the future, which is the directive of having morals, values, and sustainability in this country. And as I said, if we don't have that, we lose it all.
All hell break loose.
And we are losing it. And I don't want to use the word we lost it already, but to me, it's heading down a tunnel, and if we don't stop and don't wake up as a society and as a people and put things into perspective,
Don't you think that we are already a little too far gone in Trinidad?
We're far gone already, and
No.
we're trying to do things. We built a party with educated young people, you know, others who have knowledge and wisdom to come forward. But we don't like nothing new. But have we ever stopped and thought about the process of this? And this is a question that nobody likes to answer. All these older people who are in the political arena and has been there for years, they're not going to live on the earth forever, right? We all didn't come here to make stone. And the thing about it is that when they leave and gone, what will happen to the youths that coming up after? Who we leave in the country for?
No, the children who grew up in the same party with them. I'll tell you something.
The children will grow up in the same party.
No,
but the problem will be is that eventually the world is changing and everything evolves.
Yeah.
We're coming into a world of technology.
Good to mention that.
Everybody's bringing technology into the game.
Yeah.
But the elderly don't know nothing about technology. Your level know about technology. Maybe a few in my time will know about technology. But the little ones are faster than lightning with a phone.
Now I'll tell you this, we are at a point in Trinidad and Tobago where young people today do not care about politics.
Yeah, they don't.
And what we care about is just simply living.
Yeah.
All right?
Correct.
And we have gotten to the point of fast living in Trinidad and Tobago with the implementation of TikTok, technology, social media, and we are blinded by what someone posts about themselves. They don't actually see the reality.
Yeah, I know.
And unfortunately, that's where we are today. Now, before, this was a while ago, it was about an hour ago, I was supposed to talk about corporal punishment back in schools and the implementation of corporal punishments back in school. And the reason behind it is because in today's world, you have a lot of young people picking up guns to kill their own peers. All right? And mainly in the African community. Let's be real about it. Mainly in the African community in Trinidad and Tobago, you find a lot of black boys from Mova, Beaton, Sealots, Laventel, picking up guns and getting into that gang warfare and killing their own peers. Now, I spoke to Joanne.
What about, okay.
I can't say the same for the other community.
To balance it off, there was a situation with some Indian boys who...
There's no balancing off here.
Who beat up...
Listen. Part of recognizing you have a problem is recognizing you have the problem at first.
Yes, but the thing is, for me, is that yes, I understand that majority of the situations that happen in black communities.
Correct.
Okay? I'm not going to dispute that. That is correct.
Yeah.
Right? But some things are not publicized by others.
If you want to say that the Indian community not publicizing it as much as it's publicizing the black community, I disagree one time. Because we just sat here and spoke about we just spoke about stigmatization, and you could call out stigmatization in the black community, mainly Mover, Sealers, Beaton, Laventel. You could call out stigmatization there. You can't say the same thing for down south. You can't say the same thing for Shogunas. You can't say the same thing for Separia. Yes, they might be killing down there. It's not in the abundance as it is up in the north.
Not up in
It have a few.
It have a few. But it's not in the abundance as it is coming out from Diego Martin, where you just saw children killed in Diego Martin. The newspapers label it as bloodshed just Sunday gone.
I heard there's kind of turf war going on right
Turf war going on. And
I don't know how true that is.
And let's be real now. I'm from Over Laventel. I don't know, but I'm from Over Laventel, and in my community, suddenly you hear war start back. That's what the community does say. War start back. Don't pass any night. Don't pass it. Don't go here. All kind of
war start back. But war start back on what?
We don't know.
But listen.
That's
Stress.
It is.
Quality of life, cost of living. All
of
that
those things, yes.
There's lead to certain things. And even I was telling somebody the other day, I say, let's jump to PEP policies, right? We can't attack security or crime head on, in the sense that we can't say, like this government want to put X amount of billions into the national security, right? That wouldn't work. We have to fix the causes of crime. We have to fix the cost of living. We had to fix education. We had to fix the hospitals. We had to put things in place where people start to be comfortable. They know you go to the hospital, they are 95% sure that they will get through. And they won't have to call somebody they know to pull a string. Right? That's where we had to reach. We had to know we could go license office, and if you're going to apply for a job and you need a heavy tea, you go and you pay and you do your test in 2 weeks or whatever, and not that you had to go and pay a bribe to get your heavy tea license because they put your date 6 or 8 months down the road. They don't have all them people lined up for 8 months and then for you to come. That is just tricks for you to come and say, well, how I could bring it up. And then you can do the test the next day. I telling you from experience.
For the contract or trying to get a job, they can't get the job because they can't get the license. Because of the amount of time they have to wait to get the license.
Do you know in a place like Canada, you can go to the post office and get your license. Just a snap pop, say from your first picture, you go, sit down just like this in front of a light, bam, bam, you take your picture, you put it in an envelope, you send it. By the end of the day, you go back there and you get it.
So it's a breakdown in everything. In Trinidad society.
Everything is failed.
You can't get a job as young people, so they can't get work. Unemployment is sky high.
And what they say, idle hands do the
most mischief.
Devil work.
The devil work and most
We
mischief.
need to go back as Trimbegonians. We need to go back to what is
There's no
supposed to
going
be.
back. Let's be real.
When I say that, right, we need to look at, I should say, right, we need to review what is the bedrock of society, what it's supposed to be. The three most important things: God, family, country. The three most important things. Without those three things, you cannot have a civilization, you cannot have a country.
Thank you.
You could
I
be
agree.
you could-
That's what I've been saying all night. You can't have
the top causalities with regards to crime and youth delinquency. The top 6 are all related to family life.
family life. The same thing. The
Single motherhood.
Yeah, the nucleus.
Lack of a father figure in the
Exactly,
household.
the nucleus.
Absenteeism amongst parents.
Yeah.
Parental neglect. When your child comes home and they say, "Mommy, I'm home," and you lying down in your bed, whole day lying down in your bed, it have nothing on the stove, it have nothing there, and your child going out on the road and looking for leadership out on the block.
And again, look at the cause. Look at the cause of that. The cause might be because the mother have to work 3 jobs
Yeah.
to pay her bills. So by the time she home,
Yeah.
just
and the
just
older
go and make
child watching
something.
the younger one and
Understand?
so forth.
You
Yeah.
you imagine minimum wage in the States, you can buy 10 burgers.
Yeah.
Minimum wage here, you can buy half a burger.
Burgers expensive.
If you gauge income, let's say I dig a hole here. Philip is always say that. And I get $100 to dig this hole here in the States. And then you come to Trinidad, you dig the same hole. What you getting paid for that? What you could buy with that money?
Don't even go as far as the States, right? Go to St. Lucia and buy EC. Buy Eastern Caribbean with the streets of one, or go Barbados with the streets of one again.
Yeah.
Right? And then you convert the amount of money. Like if you were to give a homeless person in Trinidad and Tobago right there on Charlotte Street $20 right now, he watch you and cost you. But if you was to go to St. Lucia and hand that man 20 EC, he watch you and bless your whole lineage and family.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
Our money have no buying power again.
No buying power, have no value.
That's why I
Now,
said it
some
doesn't
persons
sound
ask
like
whether or
it's
not the
wrong.
way that we fix that is, well, I ain't going to go to inflation there or devaluating the TT dollar, but simply changing to Caribbean dollar.
No. What we need to do is diversify the economy and make, because money, the value that we assign to money is always backed by a real world good.
Thank you.
We need to diversify the economy and stop banking everything on oil and gas, which is
Boy, you want the
devaluating.
job as being the finance minister?
And I am about to disagree. All right, and you'll hear why I'm about to disagree with your talk about diversifying Trinidad and Tobago's economy. Nobody ain't coming here, number one. All right, let me make that clear. Nobody ain't coming to Trinidad and Tobago
No.
to do anything. So if you talk about diversifying Trinidad and Tobago's economy, you're gonna cripple.
Okay, but then can we talk about diversifying the things that we do, diversifying our portfolio and the things that we do spend money on?
Exactly. Stop
Like
importing.
high
we could talk
high
about
importation taxes?
Yes,
Cut
we
out
can
all our
stop
importation of food.
importing all of the food that we import in Trinidad and Tobago, and we can start growing food right here. Now we're doing that, but we're doing that in Guyana. Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister gone to Guyana to talk about agro-processing in Guyana, while we have an agro-processing plant right here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Why did we have the
that is sitting
agricultural
down.
fair the other day? What's the point of that?
Here's what we have to do in Trinidad and Tobago. What we have to do in Trinidad and Tobago is elect real leaders to lead.
That is the
because we
solution.
do not do that. The people in the black community, Trinidad and Tobago, I know you don't like to talk about that and you don't like to hear it, but the people in the black community
Because those
vote.
race.
Well, we have race and we have to accept it. The people in the black community continue to vote for the People's National Movement simply because they think it's a black party. The people in the East Indian community somehow is Camelot till they're dead.
Again,
Don't know about that.
I was talking about that one, that point earlier, because when you look at the history of these parties, right, and the United National Congress was formed as a conglomeration of all the other Indian parties that had sprung up and dissipated at the wayside, and all of them came together under the banner of the UNC, which was formed as a countermeasure to what they saw as the Black Party of the day, the People's National
And we
Movement.
still have
No,
that
but-
in Trinidad
but-
and Tobago. Unfortunately, what we need, again, is... I was going to use that. I didn't want to use that.
Diversification.
But we do need that in the political landscape in Trinidad and Tobago, because you see, come 2030,
We're afraid of new, huh?
we're afraid of new, yeah, but
There are people who are literally coward in this country
Yeah.
and is afraid of something new.
You know what's the funny thing?
They
While
don't
I-
want to take that step.
While I was campaigning 2 years ago, a fellow watched me. I don't know you. I say yes, no, but you know Rowley, you know Mr. Emmett, you know everybody who was in government, be it UNC or PNM, and you know what they did then.
and the narrative
Go
is
vote
what
for
you're
them
going to
again
come and do the same
and see if
thing.
they will do anything different. Dog no stop sucking
Change
eggs.
is inevitable. And change
Not in Trinidad and Tobago, huh? Those are not
whether, listen to me, listen to this. Whether they like it or not, just like the dinosaurs, changes inevitable. The dinosaurs gone.
They are going to say that the same change,
eventually.
not with the PP. They are going to say that change going to come with, what's the name, Tashera coming into the PNM. Imagine that, Tashera.
Wait.
That is the change that they will talk about.
You're talking about Clico, Tishara?
Thank you.
Anyway.
Let's not go back to 2010.
Anyway, but seriously, that is the change that they will talk about. They will say that change is Tishera coming in. The change is Kamla going and Munilal coming in. They would never say the change is just say appoint or elect a new political party to lead. Real leaders with real vision to lead. You spoke about diversification. Everybody talk about diversification because it's so easy to say.
How do you think Singapore was able to become
a new leaders?
Right.
Not diversification, huh? New leaders. And hear me out.
Laws that were implemented. You can't go to Singapore and do nonsense. So that's why they're the financial hub. Then you have the Arabs, right? But they have their thing in a correct
order.
Mobility.
Correct.
In order. That's why they could put that big glass thing across the desert now, you know.
And they come in, they come in.
Yeah.
It's because when they implemented things,
Dubai, same thing. Dubai is new things. You see, when you have the vision to see beyond.
Listen, if you check all the manifestos, go back. Very nice. It sounds good.
Oh God, excellent.
Perfect.
Nice to the eyes, sounding good to the ear.
The same UNC bullshit.
Realization,
Nothing.
Not one.
Nobody PNM in 2013 when I was campaigning for 2014 had trend with picket signs saying we're not removing subsidies, we're not lowering taxes, we're not raising taxes. I was happening now.
It's the same UNC bullshit manifesto, and it's just may promote for the 2020 election. But it's the same 2020 bullshit manifesto where they speak about, diversifying and getting private sector to do this and that and all kind of nonsense, all right? What we have to recognize here first in Trinidad and Tobago is that we have everything we need to sustain lives in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. We had petrol, we still have it, it's a scrapyard now, but we still have it. We still have gas stations that we could privatize. I mean, what was again the first Prime Minister? Eric Williams. Right. Okay. With that whole nationalism idea that he had with gas stations and everything in Trinidad and Tobago becoming, a national thing. It's controlled by you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. And that's how wealth is distributed. Yeah, exactly. The moment that we recognize that wealth is distributed that way no more in today's day and age is the moment that we can move forward in society. Yeah. No young people coming up in Trinidad and Tobago today saying that I want this from the government. All they're saying is I want to make it myself. Plenty people in Trinidad and Tobago is saying that we want to work for what we have today. I work to put up this house. I work to do this. Government to give me nothing. Mm-hmm. Well, they come in to take it for. All right? We have to recognize that nationalism ain't the thing anymore. And maybe Prime Minister Rowley, and Philip probably will get vexed here, but maybe Prime Minister Rowley have the idea of moving away from that. But it's the way in which that you do it. That's the main thing, is when you come to do it as well. You come in this time to shut down Petrotrin and tell people that work for themselves, all right? That to find somehow to maintain their own lives. But here's the thing, you do that, but not prop up the private sector. You do that, but not create any incentives to create new business in Trinidad and Tobago so people can go and find jobs in Trinidad. That is why you have people down in this Point Fortin, PNM constituency again, protesting for work.
But David, even in front of BP, when they were protesting that these men were stating that they have the qualifications, they have the experience, they have everything, and no jobs.
And the reason why they have no jobs is because there's no incentives to create said jobs for them in Trinidad and Tobago. There's no incentives for you as a private person to come out in Trinidad and Tobago and say, hey, I want to do something in IT. We went to the agro-processing thing at the Queen's Park Savannah. Yeah. Research in Trinidad and Tobago is given, what, $10,000, $14,000 in research alone? Well, they don't understand how big research is in Trinidad.
That was what year? Not in 2014?
So long ago. And these are the things that we need to fix. And I kid you not, I kid you not, Akil Camp's shadow MP. I read the UNC manifesto. I read the PEP policy and it beats it by far. And this is not me telling you because I'm a member of the PEP now. It is because everything that I'm talking about right now, or talking about back then, it is listed there as to how we plan to create it. The UNC's manifesto just speaks about it. This is what I want to do. The PEP goes into details as to how we plan to fix it, how we plan to bring it about.
Right, but everyone has been saying, like when they read the PEP manifesto, I said, you could get the vehicle, right? They will show you how the vehicle will roll. But you can't just take the person who designed the engine. You have to be part of it in order to learn how the vehicle will work, right? So they keep saying how this is going to be introduced, how this is going to be introduced. So each party may have take ideas or whatever, I don't know how it's done, right? From Peppercell or different things, and they don't know how it will function. They're adapting things, but they don't know how it will function. Remember, the engineer is Philip.
Yeah.
So if he's the engineer, it come like you're running a plant and he's the engineer, and only when he know which switch to turn on, then that factory will function. Right. So people have to understand that you have to be part of the factory in order to see that engine run.
Yeah, but then to do that, you have to have a national vision.
Exactly.
Which is something that the current regime, I will call it a regime, the current regime as of today does not have. It's
not only that, but
again,
also the opposition, because, and we'll get to that after the break, but we were supposed to talk about corporal punishment, but we might put that for another show, because you see this one next to mine. But stay tuned, we do have bills to pay, we have advertisers, unfortunately.
Yes,
not that I getting paid from it though. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Much pressure, so you're such a pressure. Stay tuned to Trinidad and Tobago. When we come back, we will talk about, you just mentioned something there. What did you mention just now?
National vision.
National vision. Because we had to talk about that, a national vision for Trinidad and Tobago. Makila Pandey was on Synergy TV this morning. Makila, you talk a pack of bullshit, boy, Makila, boy.
Came out the
A
dust.
pack of bullshit.
She appeared.
Makila, when you actually form a political party, like the Progressive Empowerment Party, have a political party, come and talk to us now. In fact, Makila, come and talk to us now about joining, because the only time you ever see Makila Pandey is when an election coming up, local election around the corner, say, see she then. And then what she will go and do is say, she contesting, and then I am bowing out Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, I cannot contest. Miss me with your bullshit. We'll be back right after this. Right.
Richard Homes, a loving, safe, caring senior care living facility where your family becomes our family. Our experienced caregivers are trained and overseen by our registered nurse who has years of experience in psychiatric nursing and working with geriatrics. We provide a safe living environment for your loved ones. Come and visit us. We are located at 4 Roads in Diego Martin. Richard Homes, we are family. View us on Facebook, Richard Homes. Contact us at 684-2873 or 468-3186.
Welcome to the Pharmacy Hub, located at 1A Jenningham Junction Road, Chagonis, opposite the Charlieville gas station. Come on in and get 10% off all prescription and 20 to 30% off selected dispensary medication. At the Pharmacy Hub, we have a wide range of over-the-counter drugs to provide the best quality of health and fitness to you. From personal care items to stationery and toys, the Pharmacy Hub has got you covered. The Pharmacy Hub, providing the best care at the best time to you. Trinity Lighting welcomes you to our store at 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Trinity Lighting carries a wide range of bulbs such as incandescent, halogen, CFL, and LEDs for any application. We are specialized in light bulbs and parts for medical, marine, residential, and commercial use. Contact us today at 868-628-8373. Our professional team is ready to assist you with all your lighting needs.
All right, so welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago, David Welch, Utah Chairman, as well as Shadow Member of Parliament for Laventille East Movement. Precious Cruickshank, Women's Chairman, also joining me. She going up for something, and I ain't gonna say that yet. What she is?
Oh, you know things I don't, David.
I don't think you don't. All right, no problem. So we have the panel in again. We have David Joseph, another David here. We also have Akil Camps, Shadow Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast. We have Adana Richards, also here on the inside, concerned citizen, as well as member of the Progressive Empowerment Party, the director behind the scenes as well, who does not want to be called because he's from Port of Spain South. If he only go back Port of Spain, no!
And he have his bicycle already.
You have your bicycle. He can't afford gas, and we're not paying him tonight. So welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. We spoke about a lot. We spoke about youths. Well, it is a youth program today. We spoke about so many youths dying in Trinidad and Tobago, youths killing youths, and then we, diversed into country and spoke about diversification, and national vision is where we are at
and
right
all
now.
Connects, David. And each one of the points that we've stated connects to one thing, and of course, it's our youth, the future of our nation. And if we don't have a national vision, and they don't know what is our national vision, where are we going, really and truly? Like, how are you going to implement? What are they going to implement? They're going blinded with what direction? With the corrupted direction that is taking place within the two different parties we have now?
Well, let us now find out as we. What time is it? We are 6 minutes, so we are about closing time now. So let's find out from you first, David. How would you like to see your country for yourself?
I would personally love it if it was that I could walk the streets of Port of Spain and not have to smell the sense of human waste everywhere, not see homeless people rampant right there by the Parliament building, right there by the Red House. There are a lot of homeless people all over the city, all over Port of Spain, and this is our capital city. And buildings are dilapidated, falling down around us. I would like that I could go home and walk my streets without having to watch where I'm stepping because I have a pothole here and a pothole there. To be able to drive and not worry about if it is that I spend this money on putting gas in my vehicle, that I won't be able to eat tomorrow. I want to be able to go to sleep and not have to worry about closing my window, locking my door, and worrying about if gunshots will wake me up in the middle of the night. I want to live in a country where children can go out and play without having to worry and look over their shoulders about being gunned down, where young men can go out and play on football fields without having to worry about if they reach home too late, or if they stay out too late, if the police will pass and lock them up for simply liming and being with their friends. I want to live where people and students are not stigmatized for the areas that they live in and where they came out from, because where you grew up from and your nurture does not determine your nature. Where you grew up from does not determine where you ultimately come out to be, and that is what I want for Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice. Let's also go to now Akil. Akil, you are. I mean, you've gone through it all. So, how would you like to see Trinidad and Tobago, either for yourself or your family?
Well, I want to see a PEP government in office. Notice I said office, not power. In office, right? Because it's not power. The people have the power. We go to represent. A PEP government in office implementing all our policies. I dream of that. And if we get that opportunity and the people decide to really give us that chance and do their part, because we can't do it alone. We need every public servant. We need everybody to just decide, okay, cool, hey, listen, we could make things better, turn a leaf. They may have been involved in certain things because they had no choice. Let's put all that aside. Clean slate. Let's focus on fixing the country. And our policies all have to start at the same time because they all work like a chain together to fix the country. Right? One thing I want to emphasize on, simple as you voting your MP and your MP going into Parliament and not taking a ministerial position, which will enable now for us to hire the ministers. So you will have to be qualified with the Minister of Education, you will have to have the qualifications, and we hire you, right? So you get deadlines, right, and targets, and you can't meet that next man, because we don't want no jokers doing that, right? And then again, ask yourself, when those MPs go in and then they take a ministerial position, how are they getting paid? The MP salary is what, 41,000 plus perks? Do they also get a ministry salary? You understand? And then what work they focusing on? When last you see your MP? I could tell you.
When I walked with my MP during the election.
I can tell you one thing. If, or I should say when, I win my seat, I will be for my constituents. That's my job. Right? I wouldn't say I have my councillors. That's their job. No, that's my job. Right? I had to ensure that they're doing their job. And that will make such a big difference. You have 41 MPs and then all your ministers hired.
Yeah.
That alone is a big change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a PEP government is what Mr. Chambers wants to see. And he is the shadow MP.
Camps.
So I mean, come on, if you didn't want to see that, a question, yeah. But I've done Cam, so gosh, what's it? I said Mitchell?
No.
What's it? Chamber.
Poor fella.
Poor fella, sorry.
Poor fella.
So I apologize there. That is precious fault. So now we go into Adana. Adana, what would you like to see either for yourself or your family in Trinidad and Tobago?
Wow. So serious question. I would really like to see a developed country. We have enough to have everything that we desire as a nation and as a people, meaning to say betterment in housing, cars, lifestyle, education, betterment in tourism. There are really some amazing places, even waterfalls we have that is even untouched. You know, I would like to see betterment. I think that Laventille should have this beautiful scheme where it should give each family something that they could paint because when you're coming in on a place, you're on top of the mountain, it will look pretty. The vision that I would have for this country would be remarkable. Right, and we have the effort, we have the time, we have different things we can do it, but we have to come together. What I want is a together nation. I would like this country to stop with the old time, who black, who Indian, who white, who pink, who green. It doesn't matter. We are one race, things can learn to do. And we need to move past all those long time things and those old school thinking and move forward. We have a nation of youths, as you can see this gentleman. Mr. David on the other side here on my left.
Which side?
On my left, not David on the right. David on the left. David on the right already. he have himself put together. The one on the left is the person I'm meeting, the gentleman, and to show you to the country that they are children and they are youth, they are gentlemen, young, future ahead of us to have their head on. Give them the opportunity, give them the chance. Maybe the older folks could help them, yes, but guide them in the right direction. This direction of being bubble and corrupt and all these things, we don't need to instill that in our children. We need a proper future. Yeah. Right? This is what I want to see, a proper future in education in all walks of life. Trinidadians deserve a comfortable life, a safe life. Yeah, the less crime in a country is shown like in places like Singapore and all this, because why they are wealthy, they take care of their people, they make sure they have. If we do that in PEP, we have a chance. Let's not follow the narrative and fight with the rest and who used to do this and who used to that. That's old school behavior. We need to move away from that kind of distasteful behavior and show the children, listen, this is new. this is your future, and you could come on board. We have a youth arm, the women's youth arm, the young woman could come on board with Precious. We have the young man, the other David on my right, who everybody knows, right? You could come on board with him. He's a good young man to follow as a role model. This other young man, and then we have.
I ain't that young.
We have Akil, who can teach trade to fellow. I mean, learning a trade is good. If you learn woodwork, you can build your own house. Then we have Mr. David, right, who has a financial background that's remarkable. I think you need to have a class with some of these people, right? And honestly, that's what I want to see for this country, a better directive forward. We need it. Culture, even sports. We need it. Sports should have been number one on the list for getting, like, you know, young girls in gymnastics and making it up. We have big stadiums doing what, pretty I don't know. I came from a line of athletes. I used to run. I had a trainer from Hampton and different things like that. We have good athletes in this country. Use what we have. Make it better. You know, why we keep fighting and bickering within ourselves. All these premature things that they do online. I wouldn't engage. I sit up till 3 in the morning reading some of these things, and I have to wonder if these people go to bed at night and study, is God watching me? Did God hear what I just say? Is my angel tired? Because probably some of the angels writing out on books and they're exhausted, you know, because they're saying, oh God, you know, they don't know where they're going. But we have to have some form of perspective. As a young man said, God, and then the nucleus, which is the family, whether it's single, marital, however, because there are single fathers doing good jobs. There are single mothers doing excellent jobs. So you can't beat everybody. But the family life is what needs to be strengthened, and we need to do that fast. Yeah? So that's my take. That's where I want to see the country go.
There's a wide national vision right there. That's a national vision.
Yeah.
Should I go to Precious? We also time now.
No. Tell Precious.
Like 9:04, like wow.
So let's go to the women's arm chairman, Precious Cruickshank, and hear her vision for country.
Well, David, you prayed a lot, and all his songs, excellent. My national vision is to have justice. Let justice prevail in our country, because that is something that we don't see, we never see anymore. And I don't think I've ever seen it in Trinidad in my 20-something years. I'm not going to say how much. 20-something years living on earth. But just to see that people do get justice, as small as we are, Trinidad and Tobago, justice is something that is so far away from us. And I want to see justice happen in Trinidad and Tobago. I've opened my eyes each and every day and hear different stories and different scenarios and different things. Things like a Vinger Naipaul case that has not been solved, the woman. Hear different things that has happened, but you could never, the case has never been solved, no justice there. And the others, as this lawyer, this prominent, yes, Dana Sitahal, for years and no justice. This lady who has lived a life for the legal system in our country and no justice for her. And so many more lives that just go.
The list goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on. And no justice. Justice that does not prevail in our country. And that is something we should have a national vision where justice prevails, where no life is lost and no justice is being given. If a life is lost, justice will prevail. And I really hope that that would happen in our future, that I would live to see that happen in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. And also, standard of living would go up. And when I mean up, that each and every citizen would be able to afford a better life, would be able to say, okay, I don't have to struggle because of what is happening. Now, some people can choose to struggle, you know. Some people choose to struggle because they have the resources that is available to them, but they choose to stay in a position where they are not making use of it. No. We want to be able to live in a country where resources are there and it's being made available, easily accessible, with all this sort of red tape where people, I know a family, her child's father died, and they run around and the red tape and the this and social welfare have to come and see to make sure she's not lying and this and that and the other, while this woman is grieving, while she has a newborn baby. Red tape. There are certain things that you must have red tape for, and there are certain things that you just know that you can help citizens in order for them to live a comfortable life. The standard of living of people should be better than what it is now. It should not be how it is now. People should not be suffering. That's the thing. We are such a small nation.
We're a dot.
Compared to the others. That we have people suffering, but yet we have people coming into our country after living life, living up life, that are finding betterment in our country, but yet our own citizens are suffering. So we want a better standard of living, we want justice to prevail, and I want our leaders, and we spoke about it earlier, that think before you involve yourself in any corrupted act. Think about the nation's youth, think about the children, think about our future. Before you indulge in corruption, think about who is going to suffer. It's our young people and our young children that are coming up. The opportunity cost, the cost that is going to incur when you indulge yourself in corruption is going to be on the back of our young people and our children growing up. They are the ones who are going to stand that cost of living afraid, that cost of not being able to have the resources, that cost of when they have to go and get their license, that they have to, you know what, they're probably learning for so long, but because of the one person who indulged in the act of corruption, that lineage right there trickles down to the many who have to go through that, where I have to pay a bribe, or I have to what do you call it?
Grease your hand.
Grease your hand. When I probably the best driver, or I probably have the best grade in the medical faculty in the week, because that's a hard faculty to get into if you don't know somebody. So you know what, before you indulge in corruption, before you indulge in any corrupted act, think about the people who will be suffering. Please, there are a lot of people who didn't get the opportunity because of one person's error. And you know what, you can move past that error, but just you have to do better. Do better for many others.
Well, that was something. Yeah, that was something. And this was a show.
It was.
We speaking about national vision. I don't think I need to say mine, son.
Of course, David.
I really don't think so, because I think it has been clear over the past few years, actually. And I want persons to know that when you put on the shirt that we put on today, or we take up the
mantle
that we took up, you get into that type of life called public service and what is supposed to be service to people. The only thing that's supposed to matter is people. The only thing that you see, you eat, you breathe, you live is people. And my national vision is for leaders to actually recognize that. Because when I put on the shirt of the Progressive Empowerment Party shirt and the hat of the youth chairman to the Progressive Empowerment Party and now shadow member of Parliament for Laventille East Morvan, I did not recognize that I put on a hat of just complete torment, firstly, but you put on the hat of serving the people of Trinidad. And
the patriotic part of it.
And
the patriotic part of it. That's what it is.
That is the toughest thing in this life. And I think I don't know if you've gone through it, but if not, you will go through it. He's a shadow MP as well. And that is the hardest thing.
That doesn't mean to cut you.
Go ahead.
People tend to always think that when you get into politics, it's about the public purse or the money, right? You have to love your country in order to do what you have been doing, right? Let's be real about something. You subtract the money, you have people, and you will still need to lead people, right? We go back, they like to talk about Africa. You go back to the tribes of Africa. They may not have money in the village, but there is a king to keep order and keep different things, and their maidens and different things to keep an order, right? So it's not always about money, it's about the principle of life and who has the leadership to do certain things. What people fail to always understand is that when you go in there, when you steal from that public purse, you're stealing from your grandmother, the deceased grandmother, yourself. You know, it takes you back to the conversation the old people say, thief from thief may God laugh, because you're stealing from yourself. So psychologically, it takes a person who has no knowledge of that and think, well, yeah, I'm fattening my pockets, I'm being rich. But you're robbing yourself. You're robbing your mother. You're robbing granny down the road. You're robbing your children.
No, well, you see, they don't care, because the majority of those public officials, what they do is that they have their children, they grow up their children in a system where as soon as they get old enough, they go into their own party, into the youth arm of their party. If you are not if your family member is not involved in that party, you cannot enter into the youth arm of those parties. And then once they get old enough, they collect their government pension, and then they fly away to some distant location, and then they send money for their children, or when they die, they pass on that money to their children, and then their children grow up in the party, they get voted in because people voting for whatever reason, just because they like the color of the shirt. Yeah. Then they get voted in, and then the cycle continues. Yeah. We need to break that cycle. We need to elect a government of people, right, which, looking around and reading the manifesto, I sincerely hope that it is this party, right, that will continue to work for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and not just care about the salary that they're going to collect at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Exactly. You see how to start controversial topics now, I stop.
No, but I honestly think that David is the type of person that is genuinely in this for people. I mean, you pay, I don't know if you might take this the wrong way, but I had loved Jack Warner for one reason. The man worked.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the man worked for $1. He didn't take no money. The man worked. Whether they like him, however they want to put it, he worked. I am not a Jack Warner fan. I'm being frank. I'm not with any party. I don't like this set. I'm what you call the woman on the fence. It's called on the fence. Yeah. But what I'm saying, observation over the years, that man did his job. That man was in his office whatever hour in the morning, and anybody could point and say that is not true, they're a liar. Yes, when he used to be in the office and he helped people.
He lives in 5 Rivers and I can walk down here right now and ask him for $1.
Yeah, he lives, he helped people. He did his due diligence.
Yeah.
They prepare him with all the other FIFA things. Right, but what I didn't admire that he was a black man from Trinidad, a dot, and end up as he vice something of FIFA. Exactly. For Jesus.
It's the same.
They like to pong you whilst you're down, and they don't understand the gravity of where a man could have taken you. You understand? In vision of the worldwide front. We're a third world, that's the classification, right? Maybe 20th world by now, the way they're going. But I'm just saying, the man was carrying us a road to, he helped a lot, he did his job. How many of them could say they took $1 and did their job?
Thanks.
Lord God! Hell no. Anyway, so so they said they actually said that Jack steal from FIFA, but never from the country's space. Never from the country.
No, whether or not he steal from FIFA, that is still alleged to be.
It's still alleged.
Alleged, right?
I said that to show you the heights behind
I'm
it.
just being frank, that's still alleged. Nobody knows that for fact. There wasn't fly on the wall to see that happen. As I always say, if you're present into something, you can say it's that. I don't speak on things that I do not know.
Yeah.
Right?
Jack Warner was a
I know the knowledge of him people going to him and getting help. It's the same thing with this young man. People have spoken to him, and I've seen you walking to people's homes, helping them. People laughed.
I wish I had the financial backing to do some of those things.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. So much people need help.
Yeah.
You know, people need help in this country at the present moment. They are hungry. They're going through stuff. People sitting down cutting the steak and yum, yum, yum. But, you know, the rest some have nothing.
Imagine this. Yeah, imagine this.
But you're comfortable, right?
Imagine this.
But then you're going to church and you're paying $100 in a thing.
Imagine
You think God like ugly?
Adana,
Alright.
imagine Parliament come up and they read the budget. And Minister...
Maybe they just say respect God.
Mr. Embert come up on the podium and say, all right, to start this whole budget, we, members of the government, taking a pay cut. We're going to remove all the tax concessions and everything from vehicles.
Yeah, but you can't tax a country. You can't tax a country into...
I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this picture this had happened. Before they started talking about everything else.
That's 101 in
right?
health.
So they show that they standing in solidarity with the people.
I don't know where they get
that
that
would
from.
make a big difference.
Even during COVID, they were still, all the ministers were still accepting all their benefits.
Everything.
And this and the that and the this and the that.
And why people can't see that for what it is.
This might be controversial, and I'm not sure how true this is. It wasn't Rowley whose daughter who was flying into Trinidad when a set of people was on wait list who was from foreign trying to come back in.
It was alleged it was her and her friend.
And one guy's different daughter had married and had a big wedding during COVID time.
And that's just one
and
story
you're talking about. For staying not one stories. Everybody was for that.
I just speak about Jack Warner. I just like Jack Warner. I don't know what he did. That's all I'm saying. I don't know nothing about those other people.
I'm
just saying that you can't tax a country into any way. I'm sorry to say that.
Into nothing.
And that is written internationally on financial wealth. You can't do that. It makes no sense at all. So I don't know how that's working.
So, because you know, I don't want to kind of So, I think it's high time that youths recognize in this country that
they have an opportunity.
Not just that they have an opportunity, because we care about no opportunity.
No, they have an opportunity to come over.
Or to PPP.
Yeah.
Of course, the sun really shining here, the UNC.
We have one umbrella, we're shading them from the rainstorm, everything. We have a whole
and to the UAV rays of the UNC. That's all that they shoot out now. They're all shooting out UAV rays. Can't have time to go. But anyway, youths have to try to recognize now that it's now or never.
Yeah.
It's time to save your country. And oh gosh, I'm going to say save. It's time to put on your big boy pants and go out there and vote. It's once every 5 years. What are you going to lose? What are you losing if you're seeing your finger? You're not going to be labeled as something because you don't know who you vote for when you go into the vote.
Yeah.
When you go into there, it's you and you alone. Do the right thing and vote for betterment. Vote for the people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But it's really time to vote for change. It's time to vote. I'm not say that now because they go take this, cut it out, and say something.
Use your voice. Just
Time
as
to use
this
your
young
voice.
man David did. Use
Which
your
David?
voice. Oh gosh.
The David to the
Use your voice and speak up. Speak out. Don't be silent.
And even if you're afraid, because I'm dealing with not a domestic thing, but a kind of issue where a young guy, 16 years, involved in weed, marijuana, and all kind of nonsense like that, and the mother looking at the PP for assistance, so we're trying to assist in that way as well. All right?
What is the problem?
I can't say it on here. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
What, to give him a business plan?
Something wrong with that kill today.
Listen, marijuana is a big industry.
I know, but not right now. Not right now. So Trinidad and Tobago.
Lord Father.
Oh Lord. Because I've seen.
You're looking to go to 10 o'clock tonight.
I'm
Keep
telling
talking.
you, there is somebody who has a company in our country and it's very
We know, and we know that is why they rush so fast to say it legalized.
It's legalized.
Yeah. But anyway.
I will hush my mouth.
Next.
Yeah.
Go with Jesus. Go with
Next,
Jesus.
what's next?
Shush, shush.
Yeah, what's next then, Precious? What's next? So I want to thank the panel for coming out. David Joseph,
Yes.
Akil Camps,
No problem.
It was a pleasure.
Adana something. Adana Richards and Precious Cruickshank, you know, a real good
Thank you, guys.
panel tonight, all right? Thank you so much for joining us, Trinidad and Tobago. It is 9:22. We started 22 minutes late. We make up in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hey.
So thanks so much for joining us, Trinidad and Tobago. Tomorrow, look out for Rum Shop Talk with Philip Edward Alexander live right here in studio, as well as right after the Citizens Union with Felicia Holder. A whole, it's like a TV station reoperating here because you know the media silence us.
Yeah.
So
and
we had a
have to use the media to let the message out.
exactly. So right here on the Progressive Empowerment.
That's
I do not hold promo. You continue. So look out for those shows coming up tomorrow, streaming live on Philip Edward Alexander's pages, as well as the Citizens Union's pages, as well as TikTok, YouTube, all of that. If you're not following the PEP, follow the PEP today. Share it to a friend, a family, someone, a neighbor, and get the message out. Go ahead, Adana.
No, I was asking, the media is shutting you all out?
Yeah, a long time.
Okay, but if you're on social media, the world is seeing you.
That is true.
So they're shutting you out. That makes no sense. Why are you saying that?
No, there's a percent of the population that's not on social media.
Boy, everybody have those little phones, and who's going to sit down by who to teach who?
No, that's
Internet is
everybody.
still
The
and what's up with
only
you?
way that
Everybody.
that set of people get it is if we spread it like bacchanal and propaganda.
You
That's how they
imagine,
get
you
it.
imagine we launched 10 shadow MPs and not one media person was there.
Telling
How is that possible?
Correct.
When I campaigned 2 years ago, Newsday alone took a written
Yeah.
biography of me.
And let me tell you, nobody else.
Nobody.
No camera, no nothing.
And let me tell
Why?
you,
Why is that?
I'll tell you, I'm
What
going
do
to
you
tell you
think?
that right now. The Progressive Empowerment Party is a registered political entity in Trinidad and Tobago. More registered than NTA or PF or PP or whichever.
PDP.
PDP, you know, all the figure that PP, the Progressive Party with Nikolai Edwards.
No, I thought they said PEP. No, I thought they said PEP.
No, PP. He is really a PP party because he is, anyway, I'm not going to because I will get Philip in trouble.
Go check out start and then just
He's excited to hear what's up. And then I am too. I'm like, what?
Because the next time we go get to any Progressive Empowerment Party is a lawsuit. But first, they say the views and opinions expressed here are the views and opinions of Precious Cruickshank.
And Mr. David Welch.
So, well, anyway, it has been an entertaining show. We're leaving it there. Look out for tomorrow. Precious number for the Women's Arm, 2984852. If you'd like to join the Women's Arm, if you'd like to join the Youth Arm, 282479875190504. Or go to peptt.com and join both the Women's Youth Arm and the PP as well. And we have our membership cards available for our members if you're interested in receiving a membership card as well. All right. So stay tuned for a next show. What's next coming up next Wednesday? If nothing happens in the country, because I'll tell all you, we calling badness on the country right now. Huh? The first show we get past the third show. By the time we hit the third episode, the Queen dead.
Yeah.
You serious?
I'll tell you, we hit the fourth episode. Unfortunately,
Need some Jesus, say some prayer.
passed away.
Yeah.
We hit the fifth show now. Stefan Father passed away.
Oh God, let me pray.
Now we're on the eighth show. What next will happen?
Hear this, but you say some our Father and
Maybe Rolly go resign.
bring a bell or something.
So I thought you said bad things has happened.
Yeah.
But I think, oh, no shit. Live. But anyway, hey, on that computer, pull up that picture with it's the new Prime Minister.
Of England?
Yeah, of England.
Oh yeah, let's just resign.
This is
Yeah.
Listen to me, if our opposition was really working, Rowley would have gone a long time. Alain?
Yeah.
Kamala Persad-Bissessar, let me tell you something, and I want to tell what's her name? Marsha Walker something. They're bigging up Kamala all over social media, trying to pretend that Kamala is the Queen of England. All right? Just like the Queen, and I'm going to say that because something will happen.
Error.
If it is the opposition leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, was as powerful as they say she is, Keith Christopher Rowley would have been gone today. The reason why Trinidad and Tobago in a failing state is because the opposition is a failure as well.
Well,
a big failure. Two of them same thing.
Well, you know what they say. Fake it until you have
Fake it until you make it. So Marsha Walker, I'm telling you, it's have room across here in the PEP. We have expressed that before. I want to tell all of them in the UNC, it's have room across here in the Progressive Empowerment Party. Come in and make the party bigger and better. Because you see what Kamala Persad-Bissessar, by the time she hit 2030, she could be on a wheelchair going into the parliament. It's time for change, time for real change. Trinidad and Tobago, stay safe, have a someone, go to the break, take break, go out to that, alright? We're going.
JC Men, Jen Couture and Studio 52, your one-stop shop that meets all your needs. From men's clothing to women's fashion, it's all here under one roof. This is shopping galore and fashion with a difference at Studio 52. Come visit us. We're located at Penco Street, Chaguanas, or call us today at 1-868-775-1747.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,700 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.